things are rough.
And then I think even with you saying that makes it even more important for the girls to know what they're going to get, because at the end of the day, we all sacrificed to do this, just like, the system has sacrificed to put it on. So, everybody has sacrificed in this pandemic. So, but we do it because we love it.
Well, you're right. Because you're right. We love the system. Yeah. But the pay should be very clear, just like the scores are supposed to be very clear.
Very much so. Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Now, I know that. Have you always lived in Birmingham?
Born and raised right here. I never lived anywhere else. This is my home. And I'm often asked why I stayed here, but I'm a small town girl. I love the small town living. I can't stand the traffic. When I go over to Atlanta, and oh my God, just I'm already always stressed for time anyway. So I definitely don't need traffic involved. So yeah, but this is home for me, and I enjoy the big cities. I love to go there and visit, but then I can come home to my small hometown and spend time with my family and my friends, and sit on my front porch and all that kind of stuff. Just a country girl.
Now, I know, since you're from Birmingham, did you know Lady Chablis?
Yeah, I did. Yes.
And
she was a former Miss Savannah Sweetheart, and so was I. So yeah, but she's from Georgia. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now the reason is because we're doing a segment on her, part of the second season as well, and so I wanted to run that across you. Once Vega told me that you were from actually Alabama, I thought, let me throw that in there.
Yeah.
Just so I can have it connected all. Now, when you went to Continental this year, did you have any second thoughts about, because the pandemic was requiring vaccinations and proof of those vaccinations?
Absolutely.
And the fact that, so what did you think when you said, I want to go, but there's too many obstacles in my way?
Well, the greatest obstacle that would have been in my way was actually over. During last year, I lost both of my parents, one in April and then the other in August. So, like I said in the beginning, God does things and He does it decent and in order. And for everything, there's a reason and a season. And so there really wasn't any obstacle as far as or anything like that as far as me going and being afraid of COVID, simply because I was vaccinated. All the people that were vaccinated, Continental was being very responsible and thinking about the health of others, as well as the staff and the so I didn't have any really fear about it. All I knew that as a person, as each individual in this pandemic, we have to do what is right, and not only think about ourselves, we have to think about others. And as long as that was being done, I was fine. Yeah.
Okay. Now, something that I found rather interesting. I know I watched you through the pandemic, and I watched when you were performing. You were so cool, calm, and collected. And everything you presented, it's, they always say preparation is key. And when I watched you in the competition, you went there to win.
Yeah, I did.
And that was an amazing thing.
Thank you so much. Like I said,
did you feel like you were going to win?
I felt like this year was, it was either now or never for me. And that was the attitude I took. And so whether win, lose, or draw, I wanted to leave content because that wasn't going to be it for me. period, blank. I'm 50 years old. It's very expensive. At 50, it's very stressful, but I try to stay cool with it. And you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just wanted whatever happened for me to leave a mark. And, it's always best to bow out gracefully and at your best, because that's the last thing people remember. Yeah, on the high. So that was my attitude as far as my preparation was concerned. I just made sure that I dotted my I's and crossed my T's. I thought about everything from the dressing room situations, and anybody knows if they competed in Continental, the dressing room is really not that good of a situation. Right. Yeah. So I thought about lighting, I thought about mirror, I thought about cords, every little thing I thought about. And even after the win, the next few days, I knew I was going to win on Friday. You see how I kept claiming that too. I kept saying when I win instead of if I win.
That's the way you do it. You have to put yourself in that mindset.
Yeah. I spoke it into existence. I believed it. I put it out into the universe. And so I even thought about, I have to be prepared to perform these days and do these walks, and people don't want to see the same thing that they saw on Friday. And so people are like, well, what did you do? Well, I had a truck, they brought my things and I flew, so yeah, I preparation, like you say, is the key, so that's what I did.
Now I know this, nobody ever asked this, but I want to ask this because when you talked about the money earlier, about the prize packages and all of that, what is your real relationship with the producers? What is your real relationship with Jim Flint? I know he's put on a great show and all that, but sometimes this is just show. And Continental is business, and you can see it's business.
Absolutely. My relationship with him, I've known him for years, but I don't know him on as far as on a personal level. It was just always me, coming to compete, and then I would leave Chicago and I wouldn't see you till the next year, or if we cross somewhere at a preliminary. So our relationship is young. I'm excited about it. I want to learn him as a person, and hopefully he feels the same about me. So the relationship is very young and it's undeveloped, but I'm very hopeful about it. Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to ask you about something else that is very concerning to me as just sitting out and watching Continental. I have watched the numbers in Continental deplete a lot over the years, the last few years. And this year, I noticed it in a big way. What do you think the problem is? I mean, I know the pandemic was part of the problem.
Yeah, that's part of it, but the numbers.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's not just diminishing in Continental, it's in pageantry, period. I started in the 90s when Black Universe had 30 girls, all these prelims, and it has diminished. I mean, I think every system has suffered because times are different, Stunning. It's not like it used to be. And we have to be honest, we survived off of it. Any girl who was successful, there was a pen behind them somewhere, So I think that plays a part in it. People outgrow things, and they give up, But I think the biggest part of it is it's just financial, in that, it's not as easy to to craft and do all those type of things anymore, and drag suffered from it, because there's so many. There was a time that like girls like me, we didn't work. We just did pageants or whatever else they did, And but I've always been a girl. I've always worked. When I came out of high school, and I've never, been without a job, but that was rare for that time. They survived off of drag and shows and stunts and that type of stuff. So I think that has a lot to do with it, along with the pandemic. So.
Now, another thing that I want to ask you honestly about this, because I know that a lot of people are scared to ask this, but I'm not. I'm going to be just straight up. I have watched a lot of the shows. Facebook was always removing the girls with the copyright and all this kind of stuff, and we understand all that. But I have seen that there's still that sister solidarity with the old school girls. Now, with that being said, RuPaul's Drag Race. Now we know, me and you, we both know that's not drag, or that's not what we do.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna be honest, I auditioned for the show because they were pushing me. The producers were pushing me at first. And now once we got the offer from Netflix, they were like, no, we don't want you to go on there because, it might just abruptly end. So just leave it alone. So I said, okay. Now, I knew that I wouldn't get on the show because I very rarely show my performances because I'm a business person.
Gotcha.
So you won't see a lot of my performing all over YouTube and Instagram. You'll see me talking and doing stupid little things or makeup tutorials or these kind of crazy things, but you never really get to see Stephanie. You give me the microphone on the stage, you got a 2-hour show, nobody else. Now, what I want to talk about is, do you think, because I really do, RuPaul's trying to backtrack now, putting trans women on there, but she's putting trans women on there that don't nobody know. And nobody cares about, and nobody's following. Because I think in her mind, she thinks this is easy. Why is it that you think, what do you think do you think RuPaul is good and bad for what has happened in the world of drag?
I think she is good and she's bad. The exposure that drag has now is partially because of the show, and I get that part. But like you say, it's really not drag shows. To me, it's almost like pageantry, and I think that the bad part was because that she was getting a lot of complaints about not being more inclusive. And so therefore now it's like, okay, well, I'll bring in the drag, because it was always, they wanted to see the transformation, it wasn't, people who lived their life as women every day for whatever reason. I guess they felt like that wasn't sellable, whatever the word is, marketable, whatever.
But when you think about it, we've been doing this a long time and we've been making money from it. So he should have known that he should have stuck with this routine and had a lot of the girls who have been in the trenches for years on that show, whether they were performing or panel judges or doing makeup or doing hair. I really think that he missed an opportunity to make the show bigger than what it could have been.
What it was, and be more inclusive in the community, But at the end of the day, we know it's all about
Oh yeah.
And sometimes we will sell our soul to the devil for $1, honey. So, there you have,
All right. Our next thing I want to talk about is, I know Tanisha Cassadine and Erica Andrews.
Yes.
They both came to Toronto to help me get things started here. Okay. I ran into a lot of adversity because I want to say this first. When RuPaul before he even did the show to Out TV. I'm the first host that he hired to do the shows in Ottawa. From the whole concept and everything. He never even thanked me or anything. That's okay. I'm okay now.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I wanted to say that, you know, when Erica Andrews and Tanisha came here to Toronto to help me get this pageant thing started, I was more focused on, I didn't want the girls to be doing the illegal silicone injections and all this. I just thought that because we have free healthcare in Canada, I thought that there was a better way. So having them here, even though I knew I could make money, I was really more about impacting the girls to do it
the right way. Yeah.
Now, I've watched a lot of the men on Botch help the girls try to get their faces back and their bodies back and give them some sort of normalcy. Right. What is your thought about these kitchen doctors?
Well, I am a result of kitchen doctors, but that was a different day and age, times have evolved. And just like you say, we didn't have those avenues to get things done. So we had to do the black market way. We weren't fortunate enough to, do the other ways. And so now it seems as if, and I must say that back then we were walking advertisement for those silicone injection people. And so it seems like back then they took more time, especially when you were a pageant girl, because that was just like that's the way you really got onto and she did her and blah, blah, blah. So that just the avenues, it would spread. And so now it seems as if it, like I said in the beginning, it's all about the dollar. They don't care about their reputation. They don't care about the health of others. And they did, it's just all about the money, and they don't care about people, and then there are some who know that they are not good at what they do, and that they have harmed people or killed people, and they continue to do it because they've gotten away with it, And I for myself, I can see how you could rest at night knowing that you're responsible for a person, even though, we know the risk, and we have to take accountability for our actions. But at the end of the day, how can you know you did this and then you go and you do it again? I just couldn't take that chance. If I did it one time and something went wrong, I couldn't do it again. So I just feel like they don't care, and it's up to us to put them out of business. Okay,
well said. Now I want to lift it up a little bit, because you're fantastic, and I just want to say, thank you so much for doing this for me. I've looked up to you for many years. I want to just ask you, because I know the crowning moment of Continental, what did it feel like?
Oh my God, it was an out-of-body experience. And I wanted to be more refined. And I was very upset with myself when I saw